snow is making its way in this direction as we get set for the start of play in the second half. The Seahawks and the Broncos are tied at 10. Norm Johnson getting set to kick off. The next kickoff return by either club will be the first. They have been booming them. And Lang lets it go, so again, no kickoff return. Well, we're tied at 10 despite the fact that the Seahawks have had it all over the Broncos on the stat sheet.
Well, the stat sheet, I think, is primarily up there due to that 80-yard throw that Craig made to Darrell Turner early in the ball game. And since then, it's really, they've run down the field a bit, getting close to the goal line. Denver's defense has been up to the task, and it looked as if their offense started to come on late. So it's one of those cases where you hope Seattle hasn't shot their bolt.
First and 10 from the 20. Winder and Parros, the running backs. Sammy Winder on a sweep. Following the left guard, Keith Bishop. Bruce Schultz on the stop. As we recap what has taken place here today, Craig hitting Turner, 80-yard pass play, first play from scrimmage, the field goal by Carlos, the field goal by Johnson, who missed from 29, and Elway lofting one beautifully to Butch Johnson, Johnson's 6th touchdown of the season. 2nd and 6 out of the 24. And it's Parros. He tried to stutter step. Nowhere to go, met by Keith Butler.
Hard to stutter step 4 or 5 of. You may do that to one.
Well, he saw Butler, and then Butler was joined by some friends. Joe Nash, the nose tackle, on the scene. So 3rd and 11. A loss on the play. Rick Parros, 5 carries, only 8 yards. We are just underway. 3rd quarter. Marv Albert, John Brody from Denver, Colorado. And Elway hanging in, goes incomplete. Steve Watson, the intended receiver. John Elway remaining in the pocket. And the Broncos will go into punt formation. Chris Norman came into today's game with more punts than anyone in the NFL, and he has had a couple of boomers here this afternoon. He's averaging 60 per punt, and that includes the 63-yard on his first attempt. He will punt from his 5.
You notice they've got 3 people back to receive that ball on the fly.
Paul Scanzi across the 45, so another good one by Norman. 51 yards, 16-yard return. Randy Robbins on the tackle.
You know, good special teams adjust very swiftly. And you mentioned the kicking game for Denver was so effective in the first half. They put 3 people back there to make sure that ball didn't hit the ground and roll 10 or 15, and it resulted in a very good punt return.
Seattle now, first down from their 46. Dave Craig, the quarterback. The running backs, David Hughes and Dan Dorning. They have gone most of the way. That's Largent, number 80, in motion. Here's Largent to the 48. And with that catch, Steve Largent has tied Bobby Mitchell for number 10 on the all-time NFL reception list with 521.
You know, and all of those players are players who played for a long period of time, Marv, 10, 12, 14 years. Largent's done it in 8, and, you know, you see no limit for the man. That occasion, he was covered by 2 linebackers, dissected them both, and was wide open.
2nd down and 3. Short of the first down by a yard. Barney Chavis on the tackle.
And this has been the toughest situation for the Seahawks all afternoon. 3rd and 1. They have not been able to pick up that first down. They've been beaten at the line of scrimmage by the Denver defense, and here they are, 3rd and 1 again. Let's see if they can finally get some movement out of their offensive line. I'm not sure I wouldn't throw in this situation. If they have a 3rd and short yardage throw, I think we'll see it.
And the Seahawks, Chuck Knox going double tight end. Mike Tice has come on, joining Charlie Young. They're packed in solid. And he will throw. Intended for Tice. So Knox looking to pull a surprise on the Broncos.
Well, evidently he didn't surprise us, and he didn't surprise the Broncos. That man was double covered. Mike Tice is not known for his speed. You're going to have to fool people if Tice is going to come open. You see, he was covered all the way. Nobody fooled. Foley underneath. Louis right deep. That's a mismatch for the defense.
Mike Tice, the huge tight end at 6'7", 250 pounds. Jeff West with his 4th punt of the day. Here's Gerald Wilhite, who's averaging 12.5 per punt return. And West with the angle attempt. And contact made. Let's see what the... Yes, a penalty flag down.
If they don't get one on that play, they will never get one. Foley going over and thanking Dornick, saying thank you very much. Dan, Foley actually lulled Dornick to thinking he was going to catch the ball. When he didn't, Dornick had committed himself. Take a look. Foley looks as if he's going to catch this ball, or this is Wilhite. Looks like he's going to catch it the whole way. That's good fooler.
And the referee, Jerry Seaman, with the call.
We have an invalid field signal on the receiving team. We have interference with opportunity to catch the kick. Number 37, kicking team, brief it down.
Aren't the ruling that Wilhite did not give the proper signal that he was making the fair catch?
Well, he was kind of, that's one of them, I think I'm going to kind of fair catch it. And that doesn't get it as far as the officials are concerned, nor the rule book.
A little chicanery attempted by
but it still would have been
Wilhite.
severe had the kicking team not interfered with his right to catch the ball, because they'd then been inside their own 10. Now they get a chance.
So West will kick again. All 3 of West's punts have been 32 yards, but all 3 not returned.
Well, 32 here is not real bad. It would get them on the 13-yard line. Obviously, they'd like to do better, but...
And Wilhite is being pulled. It'll be Mike Harden. Mike Harden dropping back to his 10-yard line. Is Coach upset?
I'm sure he is.
And the punt by West, a pop-up. That's an unusual situation where a guy on the field is dramatically pulled off. Other substitutions you might not notice, but a man back in single safety being pulled. You notice that. And this will go down as a 16-yard punt.
Well, you see, Gerald Wilhite is a little disgusted with himself. He's not been inserted into the offensive structure very much throughout the afternoon. I'm sure he'd love to contribute. This is the biggest ball game probably in his career, and he has to sit most of it out.
A Mercedes owner with an eye for exceptional cars has just seen one. The Continental Mark 7. He wants to get a better look at it. But now he must be content with the knowledge that this new Mark gives Mercedes something it hasn't had before. Competition. The Continental Mark 7.
East Point, Maine and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. East Point means a New England clam bake, summer fun and food at its best. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth golden Old Milwaukee Light.
Old Milwaukee.
And Old Milwaukee Light.
Taste as great as their name.
No
get any better than this.
Today's game is brought to you by Lincoln, what a luxury car should be. By GTE, advancing technology in telecommunications and electric products. And by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this.
And we welcome you back to Denver, Colorado. Marv Albert with John Brody. First down from the 29 for the Broncos. Well, Gerald Wilhite made a mistake, but it gained the Broncos, what, 20 yards?
The way it rolls.
I don't think Dan Reeves is thinking that way. Elway pursued. Hard hit by Greg Gaines on Gene Lang, the rookie from LSU.
You know, I think, Marv, one of the things that has gone unnoticed throughout the afternoon is the day that Dave Studdard has had on Jeff Bryant. We haven't seen much of Bryant in John Elway's hair. Now, they put a one-on-one situation. Number 70, Dave Studdard, the left tackle. It's a very hard thing to contain either one of those defensive ends, and Dave has done an excellent job so far.
And he has allowed only 1 sack this season. That's an amazing statistic. The best tackles allow about 7-8 a season. Broncos feel he's all pro. 2nd and 4 from the 35. And Elway unleashes one. Looked to be a little movement. Let's see, was there a flag thrown? There are complaints being made by both clubs.
There are always complaints, but I did not see any yellow flag. I think Dan Reeves made a very descriptive complaint.
All right, the play will go into the books. 3rd down and 4 at the 35.
Well, you'll notice just after we talked about Studdard being able to do a pretty good job on Bryant, he moved outside the offensive end, and Studdard was left free on the play.
Studdard, Bishop, Bryant, combination of Howard, Cooper, and Lanier have been up front throughout. Elway on the recovery. And broken up. The hit by Terry Taylor. Butch Johnson, the intended receiver.
Well, Butch Johnson, he gave himself up to try and make this a completion as Elway stumbled the ball first, was in no position to make any sort of a premeditated throw. He tried to get some time, got outside, saw Butch, threw it pretty hard. Butch also got hit pretty hard.
And Chris Norman, the rookie from South Carolina, who has had a terrific day, back at his 20, getting set to punt to Paul Scanzi. 3.5 minutes gone by. 3rd quarter. Seattle and Denver tied at 10. And another beauty. Scanzi, 15-yard line. And nearly lost his right sleeve on the return. A 52-yard punt. 6-yard return. Ken Woodard getting to the return man, Paul Scanzi.
And we've seen field position pretty well dictated by the punting game after the 1st quarter, and the Broncos are getting the best of that.
Chris Norman averaging just under 60-yard a punt. A timeout has been called with 4 minutes gone by in this 3rd quarter.
Shotgun Rapids, Idaho, and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The shotgun means white water at its best. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
And Old Milwaukee.
And Old Milwaukee Light.
Taste as great as their name.
You know, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
Mama said there'll be days like this. There'll be days like this. Mama said. Mama said there'll be days like this. There'll be days like this. My mama said.
A car's shape isn't much good if it just looks good. So we shaped the Mercury Topaz to help it cling to the road. Even on days like this.
Hey, don't you worry.
Topaz.
Hey, don't you worry now.
From Mercury.
Back back in Denver. This is a ball game that opened up in explosive fashion, but you get the idea, John, things have kind of settled down.
They've settled down to the expectations of most of the fans. It's become a defensive football game, and probably one big play will determine it.
But these fans have not settled down. Seahawks first down from their 20. And Craig with the successful pass for Steve Largent. Largent all the way down inside the 15. Lewis Wright on the stop.
They've done everything that they can possibly try to contain Largent, but if you're giving Dave Craig that much time, he will get free, and when he does, he will be in a position to create something big. Now here's Craig, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, and we missed a second. He comes in late. He was able to come from his wide receiver position into the middle of the field. You see Mike Harden making a chase. He's got no case. Louis Wright finally has to bring him down. Largent's been the #1 factor in today's game.
65-yard pass play. First down at the Denver 15. It's Zach Dixon. Good second effort by Dixon. Zach Dixon, a one-time Denver Bronco. He was an 11th round draft pick of Denver back in '79. Scored 2 touchdowns last week against Cincinnati. Injured his knee in the opener against Cleveland. In fact, that has hurt his return game.
That's right. And I think Chuck Knox said before the ball game, he's the one fella that if we do create a hole, can zip through there and at least pick up the big gain for us. We saw him break a tackle on that occasion and pick up 8 yards. That's a big gain for their offensive running game.
And look at the Dave Craig statistics as he faces a second and about 2. Hughes with a big hole, but set back. David Hughes looking for the first down marker, but stopped by Rulon Jones and Walt Boyer.
Again, this is where the Broncs have been very stingy. The Seahawks have been in this position, this being their 4th time today. They got 1 field goal, missed 1, and now they're down here again.
And it's a 3rd down and 1. Talk about the Broncos defensive unit being stingy. They have certainly been stingy against the run. Hughes with 13 yards, 5 carries, 13 yards, represents the leading Seahawk rusher for the day. And Craig to put it up. Touchdown Hughes. David Hughes wide open.
And that was a 4th receiver. He was trying to go to the other side of the field to Mike Tice. It was supposed to be a fooler, a little rollout, but Hughes and David Craig coordinated beautifully. He was the 4th receiver, and if you take a look at Hughes, number 46, he's in here blocking, looking around. Now he sees an opening. If Craig has a problem, maybe he'll come to me. He's smart enough to realize Hughes is in the area as a 4th receiver, comes wide open, beautifully executed play.
Second touchdown of the season for Hughes, first on a reception, and Norm Johnson looking to add the extra point. Five and a half gone by in this 3rd quarter as we take another look at Craig looking for a receiver and then spotting the running back Hughes. So the Seahawks have jumped in front. They lead the Broncos by the score of 17-10.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, babe.
So send for me, oh, baby.
Today, people are getting into better shapes than ever. Shapes that use the wind to help Mercury cars cling to the road. Shapes Mercury will be in for years because handling, comfort, and quality never go out of style.
Ain't no mountain high
The excitement and raw enthusiasm of college basketball is back when UCLA battles DePaul. Next Saturday, come on home to college basketball on NBC.
This is the 7th kickoff of the day coming up that is combined for both clubs. And we've yet to have a kickoff return as Norm Johnson gets set for the approach. Seattle with 4 plays, 80 yards. The big one, the 65-yard pass play between Craig and Largent leading to the touchdown. And our first return, it's Gene Lang. Out to the 25-yard line. Terry Taylor on the stop. An 18-yard return. Let's take another look at that Craig to Hughes touchdown pass.
Marv, so often we sit and judge quarterbacks by the strength of their arm. Now take a look. Here's Craig. He's coming out to the right side. This is a fuller look. He wants to come back to Mike Tice, his tight end, cutting underneath. He can't do it now. He's got to buy some time. The presence of mind is so important in the position of quarterback to be able to come to your 4th receiver, and Hughes was perfect in his timing.
David Hughes out of Honolulu, Hawaii, now living in Kirkland, Washington, putting the Seahawks on top. First down for Denver from the 25. Big hole, Sammy Winder out near the first down marker. Keith Simpson up from his left cornerback spot to make the stop. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is Colorado's news channel, Channel 4, KCNP, Denver.
With John Brody, I'm Marv Albert from Mile High Stadium in Denver. The usual capacity crowd, better than 75,000 on hand. The Denver Broncos 11-1. They've won 10 in a row. Seattle Seahawks 10 up and 2 down. They have won 6 in a row. Winder picked up the first down at the 35. Here's Winder again. Butler and Robinson combining on the stop. A short pickup for Winder.
You just named 2 of the players that have been so instrumental in the Seahawks' success throughout the year. Throughout this afternoon, their defensive line has played pretty well, and neither team has really moved the ball much on the ground. It's been upstairs that all the damage has been done, and I look for John to get up there immediately.
What a turnaround the Seahawks have accomplished defensively
with the same people.
The only, let's see, Keith Simpson, who regained his starting spot at left corner. Off the swing, Wilhite. First down and much more. Terry Jackson caught him from behind.
There is a flag, Marv, but we do not know on who.
Offside, number 79, defense.
How often have you seen where somebody that is really embarrassed, like Gerald Wilhite was, we see Jacob Green jump just before the snap. It was incidental to the play. The play being Gerald Wilhite's little quick swing pass. Now, this guy had to be embarrassed when he was taken out on that punt return. You can see the anguish on his face. Gets one more opportunity. He's the guy that was expected to do great things up here in Denver when he was drafted out of San Jose State, and I'd say he's made his keep right there.
63-yard play. And the Broncos, trailing by 7, have a first and goal down at the 2. Winder, the running backs. It's Lang. Touchdown. Gene Lang, 11th round draft pick, rookie from LSU, carrying the ball for the first time this afternoon.
And he's the only back that they have that's over 6 foot tall, so I guess they call him their short yardage back.
Rich Carlos looking to tie it.
Bill Bryan, 64. Keith Bishop, 54. Excellent cross block. That gives Lang a chance to slip through that small crack and tie the score. I think this game's going right by the book. People said it would be close. I don't think they expected quite as much offense, but if you look at number 7, you'll see all players are highly involved.
The Nikon FG is the 35mm camera sophisticated enough for the serious photographer.
Camera, pictures, human fun.
Yet switched to programmed, it's simple enough for total beginners. And it's so reasonably priced, it even makes a great gift.
Hey, guys, a Nikon FG with a 50mm lens. Wow! I always wanted one of those.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway. Looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way.
We shaped the Mercury Cougar to help the car hug the highway. It's a shape you'll always feel good in. Just like that old leather jacket. Cougar. From Mercury.
Monday, it's an NBC world premiere movie. Lee Remick must fight for her life to save a kidnapped baby. Her last chance and her only hope is in the rear-view mirror.
Rich Carlos getting set to kick off. We're tied at 17. And again, a boomer. Dixon and Morris had to let it fly by.
I wonder where they're going to have to spot that ball to create kickoff returns. They've moved it back 5 yards in the past 5 years. They're still kicking them out of the end zone. That ball carried almost 80 yards in the air, and both sides are doing it regularly. Here we have the touchdown. Simple little cross block by 64, Bryan the center, 54, Bishop the guard. That's what allowed Lang to get in.
What a series for the rookie Lang, who came through with that good kickoff return that was followed up by the 63-yard pass play to Gerald Wilhite, and Lang finished it off. First down from the 20 for Seattle. 7 minutes remaining, third quarter. Play action for Craig going sideline, and it's broken up. Steve Wilson on the deflection.
Hey, what? They're not going to leave Darrell Turner out there alone anymore. Steve Wilson was in on the deflection. And as soon as that ball's touched by a defender, you can unload on the intended receiver, which is exactly what is done. Take a look. As soon as this ball is touched, Wilson touches it, and Foley touches Turner.
And Mile High is rocking once again. Tied at 17. Dave Craig, 19 for 29, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, has a second down 10. Nice catch by Dan Dornick, but short of the first down. Busick and Dennison.
On most every occasion, Marv, and I hate to interrupt, it's like Dornick, Craig has picked out the right receiver. He's picked out the open man. You have to be given time in order to do that, and when he's been given time, he has done it throughout the afternoon. I hope he doesn't pick out that guy in the orange bucket.
Fourth catch for Dornick. A third down and 3 at the 27. And now Craig facing the crowd once again. Penalty flag down. Here's Hughes. And we'll have to see where they mark it.
I think it's offensively. I don't think he made the first down for well, hey, it looks like they may have spotted it to where he did make it, and if so, the Seahawks were in motion, I believe, and it will be brought back.
Busick and Jackson and Wright on the stop, stacking up David Hughes.
Illegal motion. Number 33, offense, still third down.
And yes, it is a motion on Dan Dornick. Penalties have been a major factor here today.
Well, they've been critical because They've stopped turnovers. It seems like there hasn't been a penalty in an unimportant moment.
3rd down and 8. Again movement, and again the flags thrown. And we'll have to check out the penalty call.
Looked like it might have been right down there in the front line between Blair Bush and Robert Pratt, but we shall see.
False start prior to the snap. Number 67. Still 3rd down.
Again against Seattle.
You can see Reggie shaking his head. It's so hard to hear, Marv, when you're Seattle playing on the road. We mentioned the effect that the crowd can have on an offense from an opposing city. This is the sort of thing that happens all too frequently. Reggie McKenzie, the right guard, was guilty on that occasion. Dornick, the play before, and I'm sure it's because they can't hear the signals well.
The decibel level here at Mile High, this crowd is loud to start with, but perhaps because of the structure of the field, it is one of the higher decibel levels around the NFL. Of course, they can root pretty good in Seattle, as the Broncos will find out in a couple of weeks.
That's right, but they don't have to. They don't have to find out today, and I'm sure it will be a return of favor. And if Seattle were to find a way to win today, there's no telling how loud it might get up there.
Well, the Broncos faced that in the wild card game in Seattle last year. Denver returning the favor right here. Apparently there was a problem with time remaining 3rd quarter, and you can see the adjustments are being made. It'll be a 3rd down and 13. Back at the 17, and here comes the crowd again. Steve Largent. And what a move to pick up the 1st down.
Are you kidding me? Craig knows when he goes back, he's going to have to give Largent some time to get rid of the double coverage that he's been finding from the slot position. So when he goes back, he doesn't even look immediately to him. He tries to he's got good protection. There's a 3-man rush. His offensive line creates a little gap. So now he's got a chance. Largent, you find the hole, I'll hit you. It's as complicated as that. It's after Steve catches the ball that the work was really done.
15-yard play. 9 catches, 160 yards for this man, number 80, Steve Largent. 1st down at the 32 as we pick it up back to the live action. Dornick. And that a short pickup. 9th reception for Largent, incidentally, equals a single-game career high. He caught 5 last week in the snow against Cincinnati. 2nd down and 4. Seattle Seahawks record of 10-2. A Seattle win here today would mean a tie for 1st with Denver. Broncos have already clinched a playoff berth. A Denver win would give them a 2-game lead on the Seahawks. Dixon. Some nice moves by Zachary Dixon, close to the 1st down marker. Dennison and Foley on the tackle.
Well, with any kind of blocks, when you've got the sort of threat that Largent is posing today, they take 2 linebackers and they try to keep him from getting 5 yards deep down from the line of scrimmage. And when you put 2 linebackers on any wide receiver, you're having a little problem with your contain. So a run to the other side ought to be effective, and it was.
And there's still some discussion as to where that the football will be spotted.
It does not look as though it's a 1st down, and this has not been the best of downs for the Seahawks throughout the afternoon. If it happens to be 3rd and 1, whether it be an inch or a foot, they've had a little trouble getting to the line.
Down to 4:18 left in this 3rd quarter. So it is a 3rd down play coming up. Seahawks getting off early. First play from scrimmage. Craig to the rookie Darrell Turner. Field goal by Carlos. And then Johnson made it 10-3. Elway to Butch. Johnson tied it at 10. Craig to Hughes, making it 17-10. And the 2-yard run by Lang to tie it at 17. Dave Craig with a couple of bombs. Lodge it for 65 in the 80-yard pass play on the touchdown to Turner. 3rd and 1. Fumble. Hughes recovered and looked to pick it up.
He picked up the ball, but he didn't pick up the yardage. He was lucky that he did pick up the first, however. I mean, the first item.
Yes. Busick and Foley on the tackle. And the Seahawks are stopped short of the first down.
This play looks like it starts out to be a winner. You can see Dornick has his block on Louis Wright. The play looks to be a good one, but you must hang on to the football.
And the punting situation, Jeff West. Look at that average, 28 yards per punt, and Wilhite is back in single safety. Gerald Wilhite out to the 20.
You know, isn't it unique that we're sitting toward the end of the 3rd quarter in two teams who are plus 50 and plus 48 in turnovers or what have you. So far, there has been only one turnover in the ball game, that being an interception by Denver.
Morning, Miss Stevens.
Oh, good morning.
Mr. Lewis. After you buy IBM equipment for your business.
That's time remaining, 3rd quarter. Denver and Seattle tied at 17. A 45-yard punt by West. The 6-yard return by Wilhite. And a first down out at the 20-yard line. John Elway, 6 for 13, 156 yards. Goes to the ground for Winder. Not much there. And we're set for an update. Let's go to our studios in New York.
All right, Marv, a game of interest to those in Denver and Seattle as the Colts have cut the Raider lead to 14-7 down the Coliseum. The Colt touchdown was set up by this fumble by Greg Pruitt off a punt. Pruitt takes a shot there. Don Bailey recovered at the 1. Randy McMillan took it in on the next play. It is 14-7 Raiders.
Thank you, Bill. And back here in Denver, we're tied at 17. 2nd down and 7. From the 23, Elway out of the shotgun. At nothing, and runs it out.
He was trying to make that a little shovel pass, which we've seen be so effective in the past. If you can get a little movement, get your back to slip underneath somebody, and this is the man that they obviously would love to go to if the opportunity presented itself. But he's had a problem getting off the line of scrimmage. When he's had a problem getting open, and it has not been one of his banner days.
And some words between Steve Watson and Terry Jackson.
That's a given. You know they're going to talk.
3rd down and 6 from the 24. 2:15 left. 3rd quarter. Oh, knocked down nicely. Dave Brown stepping in front of Clint Sampson.
Dave Brown, every time I see him, he impresses me more. His timing is so excellent. He very seldom ever gets called for any sort of an interception or any sort of violation. He plays the ball the whole way. Look at this. You can see his left arm, although it's on the back shoulder, he does not make contact. He pulls it away. That's a technique that some learn better than others. He's got it down to a science.
And here is Chris Norman. Again, Chuck Knox providing some security. He has 3 men back, flanking Paul Scanzi, who is back inside his 30-yard line. Oh, again, it is a beauty. Scanzi, 25, out near the 30, and gang tackle. Led by Gene Lang, who has had himself quite an all-around day. A 58-yard punt by the rookie Chris Norman, a 12-yard return for Scanzi. And with 2 minutes left in this third quarter, the Seahawks first down back at their 30.
You know, we're seeing the effect of a total, all-out, every department performance by both teams. When you kick the ball 5 times or punt it for a 56.4 average, and I mean, none of them have been over 65, but all of them have been over 50. I mean, you can't ask any more out of your group.
And here comes the crowd once again as Dave Craig ball signals. Steve Largent at midfield, his 10th reception of the day, and again a first down as he picks up 20 yards on the
And that's the most balls I believe he has ever caught in a National Football League game. Couldn't come in a bigger one, but again, it's because Craig has so much time. He wants to go to Charlie Young underneath, but the linebackers jump on Charlie Young. He throws it over the top to Largent, who's given time to go all the way down in the secondary, like pitch and catch when they give you that much time.
If you're Denver, what do you do to stop Largent?
I get scared.
Big hole for Dorning. And he is at the first down marker.
That's what you do. You give the fullback a little bit of running room if you make a crack for him at the point of attack. Those linebackers are now much more concerned with getting their depth and playing on the receivers. You can see right there, there's nobody in the hole. Number 58, Steve Busick, was the only linebacker around the play. Good block will handle him.
Second and about a half yard.
There is a tough old Kaji.
Not that old.
Got a very sweet face. Inside.
You say old affectionately, right? He's 52 years old, a young man. And the first down picked up by David Hughes. So Craig mixing it up well. Steve Wilson on the stop of Hughes. And we're down to 25 seconds remaining. Third quarter.
And you know, another factor, although it is not, the wind is not severe up here in Denver, the Seahawks right now are going against the wind. The one plus factor in the fourth quarter is that they will have it at their back. However, I'd rather have the home advantage.
Particularly the way this crowd has been going. They were quiet for just a brief moment following that 80-yard bomb thrown to get things going in the first quarter. And that is the end of the third quarter here in Denver. The score, Seattle 17, Denver 17. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
Friday, hunters in a showdown with a deadly bounty hunter.
I'm going to stop this thing.
Your business in ways you never thought of. And by General Motors. Extra time, extra effort, and attention to every detail. GM is committed to excellence.
35-degree day, 20% chance of snow. To this point, we have not seen it. Marv Albert with John Brody. And as you look at that stat on the screen, only one turnover thus far this afternoon. Interception by Seattle's Dave Brown. First and 10 from the 33 as we get underway, fourth quarter. And it's the tight end, Charlie Young, on his first reception of the day.
And that is a perfect illustration of what happens when you ask the question, how do you handle Steve Largent? The linebackers backed off to about a 14-yard depth. Earlier, on the same drive, Craig wanted to go to Young. The linebackers had him. This time, they do not. Take a look at the depth of the linebackers. They're coming back. Number 80 is just coming in. It's the same pattern, only this time Craig can hit Charlie Young, and he picks up another first down.
Charlie Young in his 12th season out of the University of Southern California, going 13 yards on the reception. First down at the 19. And Dorning inside the 10 for another Seattle first down. It'll be first and goal for the Seahawks.
The one thing that Craig is doing so well is he is not letting the linebackers for the Broncos get off the hook. He knows he's got a group that's a little confused. 340 yards passing ought to tell the story pretty well. But every time he's got an open receiver, he takes him and he takes what he can get. I think, as I've seen David Craig several times before, this is as fine a ball game as I've ever seen him play.
He had a big day during the regular season last year against Denver in the wild card, 12 for 13, 200 yards. So he's enjoyed playing the Broncos. 25 for 35 today. First and goal out at the 8. Here's Dorning. Hard driving move to get inside the 5.
Well, as Chuck mentioned before the ball game again, he said, you know, we've got to throw the ball instead of run it to pick up 4 and 5 and 6 yards on first down. This is simply a running play in which Craig is coming out to Dornick the whole way, depending on the back to pick up the extra 3 or 4 yards in an open field situation. He's done it time after time. No reason not to come to him.
And it sets up a second and goal from the 4.
Now it is tough. If I'm Seattle, I'd still throw.
And that's what Craig will try to do.
It's all right. You could almost see the predetermined thought in his mind. We come down, if we have no receiver open, file it, come back for 3rd and 4.
And that is the situation. 12:36 remaining, 4th quarter. Denver and Seattle tied at 17. How often the so-called games of the year don't measure up, but this has been a dandy.
You can see why both teams are in double digits win-wise.
3rd and goal from the 4. That's Largent in motion. Looking for Largent, could find him. Touchdown. What an adjustment of the pattern was made by Steve Largent.
That was the pattern, Marv. If you'll take a look at Dave Craig closely, you'll notice the first pump was simply to get the quarterback to commit. He did so. That tells Largent to come right around behind. You notice there was no hesitation in the final throw. Watch here. He kind of slides to the right. He's trying to see that pump. That's a nothing job. He never was trying to hit him originally. This is the sort of thing you work in short yardage drills with your outstanding receivers. You get down in a one-on-one situation. How can we beat a great defender? That's how.
4-yard touchdown pass play. Largent with his 11th catch of the day. 183 yards in all. And Norm Johnson with the extra point. So the Seahawks have jumped in front, 24-17. Here is another look.
Steve Largent. It doesn't matter who the defender is. In this case, it's Steve Foley. Steve tries to cut underneath, take the angle away. Largent predicts it. Craig knows it. Touchdown.
All right, next Saturday, the Fight Doctor and I will be in Milan, Italy, the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship, as McCallum goes against Minchio on NBC's Sports World. I know you'll be watching.
Italy.
Yes.
McCallum, a perfectly conditioned fighting machine who throws any punch effortlessly with power and speed. His vicious attacks to an opponent's midsection have earned him the nickname the Body Snatcher. McCallum versus Minchillo, the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship.
AT&T is in mushrooms. How can a mushroom supplier from high up in the Rockies sell this perishable delicacy to the country's finest restaurants as fast as possible? Simple.
Called to tell you I picked some of the best.
With AT&T long-distance service,
Terrific.
our people can show any business the best way to do business. The people of AT&T Communications, we're thinking about your business in ways you never thought of.
Big, fast, nimble, durable, versatile. 5,000 new parts, German engineered. Introducing the new Volkswagen Golf, the new definition of hatchbacks. When you work on the new Golf as hard as we have, for as long as we have, everything just falls into place. Golf, it's not a car, it's a Volkswagen.
12 and a half left, 4th quarter. Marv Albert, John Brody from Denver. Norm Johnson with the kickoff. The Seahawks now lead it by the score of 24-17. And once again, no kickoff return. Well, we just saw Steve Largent come up up with his 11th reception of the day. And I'll ask you the question again, John. I'm sure they're talking about it up in the booth where they're trying to make adjustments defensively. What can the Broncos do to slow this guy down?
I try to figure out, if I'm a Bronco, I try to figure out a trade for him.
Yeah.
Because I don't see any way right. I've always thought that a perfectly executed offense is going to beat a defense given enough time. And Dave Craig has been given a load of time by his offensive line, who has to be credited.
Denver first down at the 20 out of the I. Elway, play action, stepping up, can't find anyone. Second sack of the day. Shelton Robinson getting to John Elway. We're set for another update. Let's go to NFL 84.
All right, Marv, in the Coliseum, the Raiders have made things a little more comfortable against the Colts. Mark Wilson, who has already thrown 2 touchdown passes, scores this one on the ground from 14 yards out. He gets in. It's 21-7 Raiders. They're in the 4th quarter.
Thank you, Bill. That sack by Robinson sets it back to a 2nd and 16.
And if you'll notice closely, they're keeping both backs in. When they do that, they're a little lighter receivers. John, although he had plenty of time, had no receiver open.
First sack of the season by Robinson. Elway getting the time. Steve Watson. A beautiful catch.
Are you kidding me?
He wasn't certain he had it.
Well, Terry Taylor couldn't believe it because it looked as though he was right in his hip pocket. It's the sort of catch that Steve Watson has made famous up here in Denver. The catch that nobody expects you even have a chance for with all kinds of people around him. This ball was a well-thrown ball, but better defensed. And for Watson to make this catch at this time in the ball game, I can understand why Elway's coming to him no matter what the condition.
23-yard pass play. As you see, only the 2nd catch of the day by Watson. First down from the Denver 36. Again, play action. Again, much time. Clarence Kay, the tight end, who is rarely the intended receiver. And a flag down. Let's see.
Oh, if they call this a reception and a fumble, there better be a referee's meeting, because he never had control of that ball at any time.
The indication for the fumble and the recovery by Seattle. All right, we'll get another look at it.
Look at this. Now, if he had control of that ball, I don't believe it. You can see Dan Reeves saying, wait a minute. And whoever the official was, there had to be somebody with a better angle than his back to the ball. But you look. I mean, he never has control. It was never a catch. And it was a bad call.
And the crowd responding. Looked like Jacob Green was able to cover up. Off the draw, Dan Dornick with a beautiful spin move for the first down. Steve Foley on the stop.
The reason you saw no more reaction than you did is the people in Denver were stunned, the players were stunned, and Dan Reeves is yelling as loud as he can to the official on the line of scrimmage. Take another look. This is called a reception and a fumble.
Clarence Kay, who was in there because of his superb blocking, has only caught 13 balls this season. That's a critical turnover. Again, it's Dornick. That is only the 2nd turnover of the day, both by Denver. There was an interception earlier by Dave Brown, and the fumble by the tight end, Clarence Kay. 2nd down and 6 from the 23. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Denver Broncos and the National Football League is prohibited. Broken up by Lewis Wright, the rookie from Michigan State, Darrell Turner, the intended receiver.
Well, there's under 10 minutes left to play. We've seen Craig pick out the right receiver on each occasion. A real fine defensive play by Lewis Wright. This is a sort of football game that is so well played. I'd hate to see it swung one way or another by a very controversial call.
A couple of calls earlier that were questionable, going both ways. There was a face mask that Seattle felt should have been called, but was not. Is 27 for 39 for the 373 yards. Third down play. It was deflected, and Largent came up with the football. Let's see where they spot it.
I don't think there are many adjectives left to describe the sort of day that Steve Largent is having, but this is the kind of ball that no matter how well balanced you are as a receiver, and we'll see Craig throw it, he gets tipped by Jackson. Two people back there to defend. Number 80 comes down with it.
And that is catch number 12 for Largent. Following the deflection. First down at the 16. Dornick. Looked like the timing was slightly off right there. Rulon Jones and Walt Boyer on the stop.
The timing often is off when you don't get the ball cleanly, and Dornick never had the ball. Actually just tried to retain possession to keep from fumbling, because it appears as though anything short of a turnover will put them in a very commanding position. 7 up with a kicker that's 17 out of 18 inside the 50.
Second and 10 from the 16. And Dave Craig just rolls right along. It's the tight end Charlie Young, Dennison, and Busick on the stop.
So often it's one man who creates the whole tempo for the rest of his offense, and we've seen Steve Largent throughout the afternoon. Just watch the type pattern the man runs. You think he doesn't put some fear into any defensive back? When he gets off that line of scrimmage, baby, if the quarterback has time, the defensive back is history.
Third down and 1 at the 7. Dixon. Hit for the loss by the inside linebacker Steve Busick.
And that's where it's been real tough for Seattle. That's why it's even more impressive that Seattle's been able to throw for 350 yards plus, being able to run the ball for almost nil.
Clock running down, just under 7 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Story here, the combination of Dave Craig, Steve Largent, Norm Johnson with a 28-yard field goal attempt. He hit from 33. He's missed from 29. He has been very efficient. And he hits from 28 to extend to a 10-point Seattle lead. 6:32 left. Fourth quarter. We'll be right back.
Flight operations, Hawaiian Islands.
155 to go, Bird. And the green stripe, runner. Bring up 155 on number 2 elevator. Cloud top to 28,000 feet. Alpha Hotel, your wind is down the deck at 28,000. Launch aircraft. And clear, that's clear.
Most jobs promise you the world. The Navy delivers. See your recruiter or call this number. Navy, it's not just a job, it's an adventure.
There are lots of times when overnight is just not fast enough.
Hello, Federal? I've got to get this to the coast today.
With Zap Mail, we can get an exact copy of something clear across the country in just 2 hours from the minute you pick up the phone. Contracts, documents, drawings, whatever. Incredibly, in just 2 hours. Zap Mail from Federal Express, when overnight is just not fast enough.
Back at Mile High in Denver, Seattle Seahawks now lead by 10 over the Broncos. An important series upcoming off this Seattle kickoff.
Well, you know, Denver's come back so many times, and particularly up here in Mile High Stadium, but I really think the last turnover was a cruncher for them, because to score 10 points against Seattle is a little different than scoring 10 against some of the other clubs they've had to.
At the Clarence K fumble, it was ruled completed pass, and then he had coughed it up. Norm Johnson, who just hit from 28 yards away to make it 19 out of 22 on the season with the kickoff. And this one of the shorter kicks for either club. Gene Lang, who has had an outstanding day, the rookie from LSU, on a 17-yard return. Paul Moyer on the stop. Swing around the scoreboard. Giants with 2 late touchdown passes by Phil Simms nipping Kansas City.
We look at the scores, and they'll be up there. Right now, Denver has to do a few things in order to win this football game. One, they know time's against them. They'll have to hurry back to the huddle. They'll have to employ number 81 into their offensive structure. Double covered or not, John's got to come up with some real big pass plays.
First down at the 22. Throwing the bullet, Clarence Kay, the tight end, on the catch. So he goes right to Kay, who had turned it over.
Well, I know this happens an awful lot, and it's a good quality for a quarterback to have, to know that if a man's guilty of making a very big turnover, you go back to him to show your confidence. But I think in this case, he was trying to get down the field and came to Kay as a secondary receiver. But they've got to get a lot more going than that.
John Elway is 9 for 17, 188 yards, 2nd and 2. And he goes down the field for the first down. Steve Watson making the catch. Keith Simpson on the coverage.
Tell you what, Seattle's getting very borderline. The fans thought then it should have been roughness. And Lang is hobbling off the field. You'll notice, the Broncos are keeping 7 people back to protect Elway, trying to get Watson down the field. He knows it's double coverage. You can see
roughness. Number 42, defense, first down.
We didn't see the flag, but the official saw the play. The flag was thrown just underneath the receiver, and I think it was a correct call. It's they've been getting with it today, but they've been called too.
Down for the Broncos at the Seattle 42-yard line. We're down to 6 minutes left, 4th quarter. 11 penalties in all have been accepted. There's the shovel. Jesse Miles for the first down. The shovel pass to Jesse Miles, and it picks up 12.
It's funny when you have a group that is used to these sort of football games, used to being behind, coming back with whatever sort of offense they employ. A minimum risk offense does save a lot to be used in the last quarter. But we didn't see this earlier in the ball game. We saw it there. Picks up the first down.
Kenny Easley on the stop. First time that Miles has gotten into it today. First down at the Seattle 30. Watson in motion. Penalty flag thrown. Here's Miles. And a fumble. Seahawks say they have it.
And no matter. That time Elway pulled the defensive end off sides. The flag was thrown as soon as the ball was snapped, so it'll be 5 yards for Denver, I'm sure. I shouldn't say that because there have been a few things I haven't been quite so sure about.
I was going to mention that.
Jerry Seaman just said offense or defense.
All right, Chuck Knox shaking his head, but as you say, John, they'll bring it back.
Encroachment. Number 79, defense, penalty decline.
So Jacob Green.
Number 77, defense, penalty accepted. It'll be first down.
First Jacob Green and then Jeff Bryant. Heard with their names on the public address.
Well, they know when you're using a three-man line, there's only three of you to get to the quarterback. You've not only got to get started early, you've got to get by two or three fellas.
Broncos now first and 5 at the 25. 10-point Seattle lead. Down to 5:15 left, fourth quarter. Elway has the first down and slides inside the 10.
Good heads-up play. This drive has only consumed about 1 minute and 45 seconds. There's still 5 minutes to play. They still have to hurry, but they are back in it. Good play. Don't try to prove you're tough, John. Just get down there and go back to the huddle.
It is a first and goal inside the 10. And they come out of the eye. Touchdown. Again, the rookie, Gene Lang.
Gene Lang may be something they've been looking for around here. That's his second touchdown of the day. Extreme Denver's done it so many times. I was going to say extreme acceleration. Fouled up the word, but he still hasn't.
Gene Lang, a steady guy, both tailback and fullback during his 4 years at LSU. Major factor here today. And Rich Paulus puts it through, so the Broncos move within 3 points.
These guys just keep coming back. Take a look at Elway here. He fires that ball to Lang on the dead run. When Lang gets it, he knows where that goal line is. He covers it easily, and they're back to within 3 points.
I hate to wait.
He hates to wait. Well, you have to wait. So sorry.
Avis knows how frustrating it is to wait for your rental car. That's why we invented the Wizard number, so you can go right from your plane to the Avis bus.
I hate to wait.
We'll get you on your way and into your car fast. We know you hate to wait, so from reservation to return.
I hate to wait.
He hates to wait.
We're trying harder, faster.
I hate to wait.
When an alkaline battery goes dead, you throw it away and buy a new one. This is a GE rechargeable. When it goes dead, you recharge it. It costs more than batteries you throw away, but lasts up to 4 years. Used 10 hours a week, this toy would use over 300 long-life batteries to just 2 GE rechargeables. So if you're still throwing away batteries, you're throwing away a lot of money.
Standing and stomping here at Mile High in Denver. The Broncos have won 12 straight here in Denver, longest home winning streak in the history of the franchise. The Seahawks lead the Broncos 27-24. The rookie Gene Lang just scored a second touchdown of the day. And the kickoff by Carlos. It took the tricky hop. Zach Dixon could not field it, so the Hawks will start out from their 20-yard line with 4:18 left in the fourth quarter.
Gene Lang scored 2 times today. Brought his team back to within 3 points as Elway hits him on a little swing pass. You take a man that knows where he's aimed.
5 plays, 78 yards within 2 minutes and 7 seconds, capped off by the 9-yard pass from Elway to Lang. And for the Denver defensive unit, this the series of the game. Craig completes to Charlie Young. So the veteran has come through down the stretch. That's his third catch, and they've all come late.
You can bet. Chuck Knox knows. David Craig knows. They cannot try to pick up a first down running the football because they've shown they've been unable to do that throughout the afternoon. Let's go back to what brought us here. They did.
First down picked up by Charlie Young, who spent 4 years with the Eagles, 3 with the Rams, 3 with the 49ers. This is second with Seattle. And that's how it has gone. Right from the start, it's been a terrific afternoon here in Denver. As Craig goes sideline, Steve Largent, the intended receiver, covered by Mike Harden.
Well, Barney Chavis just got there a little too fast that time, and that can also be an excellent pass defense. We expected the Broncos to put a little more pressure on Craig because they put so much pressure throughout the year on opponents. But the offensive line has held them off throughout the afternoon.
The 3 touchdown passes by Craig put him at 24 on the season. A Seahawk club record. Only Dan Marino has thrown for more. Going into tomorrow night against the Jets, he has 32. Second and 10 from the 36. Craig throwing the bomb for Turner. So Craig and Turner now 1 for 3. They succeeded right at the start. He had him earlier this second half, and this time he overthrows.
Well, this one was tough. He had to let go of the ball before Turner really made his final break on his pattern. That's the toughest thing for a quarterback to do. 75, Rulon Jones. They filed that 3-man line effort trying to get to Craig. They're just trying to hurry him. In so doing, he has to throw too early.
It is third and 10 from the 36. 3:19 left, fourth quarter. Seattle clinging to a 3-point lead. They lead the Broncos 27-24. And Craig has the first down. Check that. He's up to the 39-yard line.
He is well short of the first down, but...
And it will be a fourth down play upcoming. A timeout has been called with 3:05 left in this fourth quarter.
There's a style in your life no one could ever deny. You're on your way to the top, and along the way, you've always known just who you are. Where you're going, you've always known it. Where you're going, it's Michelob.
Where you're going, it's exceptionally smooth Michelob.
Where you're going, it's Michelob.
Nobody sweats the details like GM.
Seattle falling short. And now Jeff West will punt from his 25. And he'll punt to Gerald Wilhite. 3:05 left, fourth quarter. Seattle leading Denver by 3. Gets the hang time. And the fair catch called for cleanly this time by Wilhite. A 41-yard punt. So the Broncos now will go to work starting out from their 20.
You know, it's so important now, Marv. They know they're in a position where if they can score a touchdown, they jump into a 2-game lead. their home field situation improves. They're in a battle with Miami right now. And if they don't, they have a dogfight on their hands. You can bet that the Raiders are right now rooting very hard for them to get down the field, because they know if it gets to where there's 2 losses apiece, 4 losses don't look so good.
Well, let's see, next Sunday, Denver will be at Kansas City, then home for San Diego. They close at Seattle. Seattle home for Detroit next week, and then at Kansas City. John Elway, 1st and 10 from the 20. Goes across the field. To Will Hite.
You notice there is not much calm in the stands, but on the field of play, the players are very calm. Elway, this is where a real strong arm, running one way, throwing across your body the other, helps the back that's receiving the ball. He got it in time to look upfield.
Picked up 17. 1st down from the 37. 2:17 left. Will Hite again. And the 1st down at midfield. John Harris on the stop. A 14-yard pass play. Now the 2-minute warning. We have a pretty fair finish going right here, but right now here comes another one of those fantastic finishes.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes, 1972. Previously injured John Brody cranks up on the sideline. San Francisco needs a 4th quarter miracle. They're losing 17-6 to Minnesota. Brody fires one 25 yards to Gene Washington, TD number 1. Here comes Brody again, running right, pointing left. Bingo! TD number 2 to wide open Dick Witcher. The 49ers win it, and John Brody gets a ride to the dressing room.
Jeffrey, helping Mother today was a good idea.
I certainly agree.
Please put these used cans in the big barrel. The big barrel, Jeffrey, the one for recycling.
Why?
Because aluminum cans are valuable. They can be recycled and made into brand new cans.
Why?
Because we've got to learn to use good things more than once.
I certainly agree.
Recycle. Buy beverages in aluminum cans and recycle.
Enjoy the John Brody fantastic finish. You're an exciting guy.
Well, thank you, Marv, but I'll tell you, this finish has a little excitement of its own.
All right, immediately following football coverage, we'll join the Silver Spoons program in progress. In addition, all remaining NBC Network evening programs will also be seen over most of these stations except for Pacific time zone and some Mountain time zone stations. Also, some of you will see the exciting conclusion of the Skins game. Elway back to work. 1st down. Steve Watson.
Okay, what have they done? They put themselves in excellent field goal position, but that's for a tie. They've got to win the ball game to really put themselves in a 2-game commanding lead. Now strategy does come into effect. Very smart. They had 2 plays called. They're up at the line.
You see the clock running down. Elway gets it away.
Looked bad because it looked as if he'd thrown it into a potential interception. What happened is Steve Watson, right on his break as John was throwing the ball, slipped down. And you know, people, I think if you'd seen this kid last year in the same situation, he won a couple games coming down the stretch for him just because he is such a tenacious competitor. And that's something I think the people in Denver are going to grow to appreciate over the years more and more and more. It's one thing to talk about a guy's arm, but that isn't the number. Being able to play when the chips are down is the number.
Magnificent day for both quarterbacks named Craig. John Elway. Elway has a 2nd and 10. And has the 1st down at the 15. John Harris on the stop of Elway. Clock stopped now with 1:17 left.
You know, they were so smart. We talk about them being a minimum risk offense, and they are. But now, when the game's in the balance, they call a couple plays. They get up to the line after their first down. They don't fiddle around. They keep the defense in a very defensive position without being able to make a lot of change-ups. And I think it's been very intelligently done throughout the afternoon on both sides.
So the Seahawks with 3 timeouts left. Broncos have 1.
It comes that time in the game where the head coach can only sit back and chew his bubble gum.
When we resume following the timeout, the Broncos first down, 1st and 10 at the Seattle 15. The Seahawks by 3, 27-24, a minute 17 left, 4th quarter.
And you can bet, and while everybody's sitting here talking over what they want to do in the next minute and few seconds, I'd like to say hello to Kenny Edmondson's mother, our producer, his mother Lucille Raines, who is resting comfortably, I hope, down in Franklin, Tennessee, and I'm sure she's enjoying the game. We wish you a very hearty get well quick.
And I'd like to thank our statistician, Ross Schneiderman, our spotters, Ron Talpers and Al King, our auxiliary stat man, Ray Friedman, and Tom Murray handling all the out-of-town scores. Thank you all. Boy, it has been an enjoyable afternoon here in Denver.
It looks like it's just getting started.
Elway checking it out. First down at the 15. Lofts it and overthrows. The only man in sight was thought I saw Butch Johnson or Ray Alexander somewhere in the vicinity.
He was not going to try and force it. He knows right now it's a pitch shot for a field goal to tie. They're playing at home. That's an advantage generally to the team at home in an overtime. And I'm sure that was a very big part of their discussion on the sideline. Do not be a hero down at this point. That's one of the things I think the young quarterbacks have learned so swiftly is that, hey, we have 49 players on this team. Make sure we use them all.
Johnson to the left. Watson slot left. 2nd and 10. A minute 11 left, 4th quarter.
Another cheap seat job. That he's hoping he can get a receiver to come cleanly open. If he doesn't, I don't think he'll try that low percentage pass.
Clarence Kay, the intended receiver. John Elway overall is 15 for 26, 275, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And he now has a 3rd down and 10. A minute 5 left, 4th quarter. Inside the 10. And now, with 55 seconds on the clock.
Let's see if Rich Carlos has a little lump in his throat.
Here comes Carlos from the Denver bench.
Let's recognize he's kicking his field goal with a little more time left on the clock than they would like. 46 seconds means the Seahawks will get the ball back. Well, 6 or 7 seconds have gone off the clock, so now we're under 40, but it's still plenty of time to come back and get another 3.
And this field goal attempt will be from 26 yards away. 39 seconds left. That is the official time. We'll be back in just a moment.
All right, Marv, for those of you who may have missed it earlier, Jack Nicklaus was the big winner in the Skins game on NBC. This putt was worth $240,000. An 8-foot birdie putt. Jack shows the emotion. Rich Carlos on to try what could be the tying field goal back to Mile High Stadium.
Back in Denver, Rich Carlos in his 3rd year out of the University of Cincinnati and having his 3rd straight outstanding season, hit earlier from 27, so he's 15 for 20 on the year. He has hit 5 of his last 6. And he will shoot from 20. 26 yards, looking to tie the game.
And what's so impressive to me, I know it's thin air up here in Denver, but for kickers to kick on natural turf at that percentage is even more impressive than on synthetic surface.
Chris Norman will put it down. And he missed. Rich Carlos not able to hit from 26 yards away. And the Denver Broncos trail by 3 with 35 seconds remaining. And the Seahawks will take over.
You talk about ending a great game on a downer. Also, the Broncos only have one timeout left, so it's not necessary for the Seahawks to do anything but sit on the ball and run the clock out. And that will put this Western Division AFC race into a deadlock.
It comes down to a missed field goal. They're now calling it officially a 25-yard attempt. And Rich Carlos able to hit as the Broncos went 72 yards in 2 minutes and 18 seconds, and the Seahawks will just run it out. Here's another look at it. It glanced off the right upright, going wide right. And now the timeout is called. So the Seattle Seahawks. Here's another look. Norman put it down. Watch the reaction. Oh, no, he says.
Well, obviously, a kicker of his magnitude has to be the most surprised man in the house. This game, which has been so beautifully played throughout the day, it's a shame it has to end on a note like that.
But the Seattle Seahawks do not mind at all if they hold on right here, and it would take a miraculous turn, a little pecking on the football. With 32 seconds remaining, the Seahawks will go to 11-2 to move into a first-place tie in the AFC West with the Denver Broncos. The Seahawks to make it 6 straight wins and to stop the Bronco win streak at 10. And the Seahawks do it by coming to Denver to beat the Broncos.
And, you know, the thing that I think you should give Chuck Knox so much credit for, coming in here, he didn't wait for anything to happen. He knew he was in about as far up to his head level as he could be. They came out winging from the first play of the ball game. He knew David Craig had to have an excellent day for them to be in a position to win the ball game. He took that shot. He did have a great day. As a result, this baby is all tied up.
Denver and Seattle now at 11-2 down. This one in the books. Time running down, 10 seconds and counting. And the Seattle Seahawks have come away with a 3-point victory over the Denver Broncos. They do it off the pass combination of Dave Craig and Steve Largent. A brilliant 12-catch day for Largent. Seattle 27, Denver 24. We'll be back after these messages.